Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good afternoon, everyone. So previous week we're talking about 40 unwholesome mental factors, right? So according to Abhidhamma, we have only 14 mental factors, unwholesome mental factors, according to Theravada, right? According to Theravada Abhidhamma, we have only 14. So all the unwholesome mental states in the Sutta Pitaka in Abhidhamma can be combined here, right? It's only 14, right? Delusion, moha. Whether we talk about moha or avijja, that is the only things. Delusion here, right? Ignorance, shamelessness, fearlessness of wrongdoing, restlessness. So all these four are called unwholesome universes. Because wherever you do unwholesome things, so these are the root, right? But when we talk about 12 akusala cheda, we have only 3 root, right? But these are 3 major things. Moha, loba, dosa, moha. But among them, wherever you do unwholesome deeds, so they were associated with these 4 mental states. So we can call it these are unwholesome universal root, right? The root of unwholesome things. Then last week we talk about greed, loba, right? Loba. Today we will talk about wrong view, conceit, etc. So among them, the last 4, delusion, shamelessness, fearlessness of wrongdoing, restlessness. So these are called moha group. Moha group, right? Moha group. Greed, wrong view, conceit. Actually, if we use it, egocentric comparison, this is very beautiful. So if we greed, wrong view, and conceit, mana. So these are called loba group. Loba group, because the loba is leader in this wrong view and conceit, right? And hatred, jealousy, avarice, remorse, these are called dosa group. Because dosa is a leader in this 4. Sloth, topa, doubt. This also moha group, right? Moha. If we under moha. This is the way to remember. Normally, the first 4 is a moha group. We normally memorize in this way. So the first 4 is moha group. And second 3 is a loba group. And dosa, avarice, hatred, envy, avarice, and remorse. So these are dosa group. The last 3, there's no name, just the last 3, right? It's the way to memorize or remember 40, right? 40. Okay, today we'll learn about wrong view. So when we talk about the consciousness rooted in greed, we learn about deity, right? And we already talk about deity, but to refresh our mind, right? So this is a Wrong view, deity. Deity means seeing and interpreting things wrongly. Deity. Actually, in Sutta, when we talk about the word deity, it is a good one. So we have a deity sambandha. In Pali, if we talk about deity sambandha, that means Sotapanna. Because he has a deity means view, sambandha, complete understanding, sambandha. Therefore, so I have there is one Bande from Indonesia. The name is a deity sambandha. Actually, deity sambandha who has a very complete wisdom. In Pali Canon, deity sambandha means Sotapanna. So when we learn about, but here they use just deity. So we should use Mecha deity. So as you know, in the Noble Eightfold Path, the opposite of the Noble Eightfold Path, we have a wrong view, right? The opposite of right view is wrong view. It's Mecha deity in Pali. But here, I don't know why they use deity, right? So anyway, deity means seeing. Actually, deity just means seeing. Seeing and interpreting things wrongly, according to here. So wrong view is normally used with the prefix mecha. Mecha means wrong, right? Mecha deity. The right view is samma deity. It is the opposite of right view. So that means if you understand right view, you understand wrong view. If you understand wrong view, you understand right view. They are opposite, right? Black and white. Black and white. So following are some definition of wrong view, as shown as stated in Sammaditthi Sutta. But actually Sammaditthi Sutta is wrong. Sammaditthi is wrong view, right? Sorry, right view. Right view. In that Sutta, Venerable Sariputta talk about what are the wrong view, right? So Venerable Sariputta is talking to the monks. So people always say right view, right view. Bande, what is right view? So the other monks ask Venerable Sariputta. So as you know, Venerable Sariputta is very good at teaching and also very good at explanation. So in Sammaditthi Sutta, so we have a Venerable Sariputta talk about what are the right view. So if you understand right view, we understand wrong view. So they are opposite, right? So based on that, we'll learn about what are the wrong view. Number one, incorrect view about wholesome and unwholesome deeds or actions. So if you understand, if you see wholesome action or wholesome deeds as a unwholesome one. Suppose we have a 3 bodily unwholesome action, right? Killing is not good. Whether you're killing human beings or animals, right? So if you think that the animals are created by the God, there's therefore nothing wrong to kill them. If you see like this, according to Buddhists, it's wrong view, right? It's wrong view. Then stealing, bribery, or taking bribe is nothing wrong. If you think that, that's wrong view, right? That's wrong view. So any type of bribe is wrong, right? So if you think like this, if you think unwholesome deed as a wholesome one, so that would be wrong view. And also, if you think that unwholesome deed as a wholesome one, wholesome deed as a unwholesome one, so that is wrong view. It's a very important part. In Buddhism, we call it Kamma Sakata Samadhi. Kamma Sakata Samadhi, right view of the ownership for karma, right? Ownership for karma. So as you know, we are owner of our own karma, whether it's good or bad, right? So if we have this type of wrong understanding or wrong view, then we do not blame other people. if something happens in your life, right? We do not blame. Even you do not blame yourself. You just acknowledge the karma, right? The karma. So therefore, actually, the working of the karma is very difficult to talk about because there are so many factors, right? So many factors. The karma that you do in this life, or karma that you did in previous life, right? So, if you understand, if you accept the ownership for karma, so that will be the first step or the right view. If you don't have that one, you have a wrong view, right? Sometimes not only our own karma, but also the karma of other people, right? So as I earlier said that sometimes we need to help poor people, right? Poor people. So their need is not sufficient. So you cannot support their need, all their need. So then you feel sorry in your mind. A sorry or pity in your mind is not healthy mind according to Buddhism, right? So you must have compassion, but you don't have to have a sorrow or pity in your mind, right? But if you have sorrow or pity to those unfortunate and poor people, that means you do not have a right view about the ownership for their karma, right? Actually, they are poor because of their karma. But of course, we have to help them as much as possible, right? So therefore, if you do not have a right view about the first one, as I always said, is it that how to say the first step for the Buddhist, we must have this view, right view, ownership for our karma. So we are ownership for our karma, right? Normally, it's very weird that we don't want to admit, we don't want to accept that reality, right? Because we have a wrong view, right? Wrong view. The second one is a incorrect view about the root of unwholesome, wholesome and unwholesome deed. This is higher because you trying to deepen your understanding, right? So you go into the deep. But we need your, we call it samatha vipassana, right? So if you have a certain level of concentration, you were able to acknowledge the existence of the root of wholesome or unwholesome deed, right? This is the second stage. And the last one, incorrect view about Four Noble Truths. So as I said that, this is for the advanced Buddhist, right? Advanced Buddhist. So only you have an understanding about the Four Noble Truths. So you were able to, how to say, bear all the difficulty. Here, Four Noble Truths. The first one is suffering, right? Suffering. Actually, suffering is not only normal one, but also the, how to say that, we call it spiritual suffering as well. Spiritual suffering means because the conditioned phenomena are impermanent, right? So therefore, suffering. So therefore, it is non-self. We cannot control, right? We cannot control non-self. So therefore, it's also suffering. The first one. So if you understand, normally before you begin Sotapanna, so it will be a conceptual understanding, right? So we learn, we read from the book, we listen to the Dhamma, right? That will be conceptual understanding. But of course, even you had that level, so you were able to bear all the difficulties in your life, right? But the first one, not sure. You can accept your good deed, right? But in deeper level, only you have this one, incorrect view about future Four Noble Truths. Then you can able to suffer, every difficulties. So the first one is suffering. Second one is the cause, right? The cause. then there is a cessation of suffering. There is cessation of suffering. We can stop suffering. And there is the way to cessation of suffering, right? So this is the highest. So even this one, we can divide into two: a conceptual understanding and actual understanding, right? Actual and intellectual understanding, actual understanding, right? So if you have incorrect view about wholesome and unwholesome deed, that's a wrong view. So if you have incorrect view about the root of wholesome and unwholesome deed, that's second type of wrong view, getting higher, right? And the last one, if you have an incorrect view about Four Noble Truth, that's a wrong view. Different type of one, right? Actually, in Samanyaphala Sutta, so we have it. The Buddha talk about 62 type of wrong views. Sorry, not Samanya, Brahmajala Sutta. So the first Sutta in Digha Nikaya. So the Buddha talk about 60 type of wrong view, right? Wrong view. So among them, so the most important one is the Ucheta Deity, Sasata Deity, and Ahetuka Deity. Three, right? Three. Ucheta Deity. Ucheta Deity means you just know and acknowledge stopping or cessation, right? Everything stop. Everything cease. You do not acknowledge arising. Sasata Deity, you just acknowledge, you just know arising, not cessation, right? So there are two parts. So if you just know and focus arising or something, you was born here, right? Like this. If you do not acknowledge cessation or stopping, so that is a Sasata Deity. In English, it is called Sastami. I forgot in English. Huh? So another one is Ahetuka Deity. There's no cause. There's no cause, right? So therefore, we must have a complete understanding about everything too, arising and cessation, right? We was born here and we will die. So we must, if you know that, that is right view. If you do not know that, that is a wrong view. And if you do not believe that there will be, if you die this life, that's it. That's also Sasata Deity, right? And some people do not believe previous life, right? You just was born right now, this life. So that will be another right view. Some people do not believe the causes, right? The causes. We just arrive here randomly. So actually, some scientists said that we are here randomly, right? Without any cause, right? Because they cannot find the cause, right? That's also wrong view. So we have a 62 type of wrong view in Brahmajala Sutta, right? So therefore, the Buddha said that because I do not see even a single thing on account of which rising and wholesome qualities arise. Arising and wholesome quality increase and expand so much as wrong view. So if you have a wrong view, rising and wholesome deed, and wholesome qualities and wholesome states will arise. Rising and wholesome qualities increase, right? Increase. If you do not believe on the future rebirth, right? Some people have that wrong view. So if we die, that's all. Then they enjoy and they do unwholesome deed, right? Based on the wrong view. Like this. So some people think that killing the people, non-believer their religion, right? It is a good deed. Based on that, they kill other people who do not believe their religion, right? So therefore, based on the wrong view, so we do a lot of unwholesome deed. So therefore, the Buddha said that. So if we have one mental state in our mind, then we will have a lot of unwholesome deed. So in Contra Nikaya, right? In Contra Nikaya. Any question regarding with the wrong view? Okay. Okay. I see. It's very actually this question is posed to me second time, as far as I remember. Of course, it's very similar. I think I should have used one soda. Actually, delusion or moha is the origin. Based on delusion, we have a wrong view, right? Actually, in the Noble Eightfold Path, the opposite of Noble Eightfold Path is the Ignoble Eightfold Path, right? The Noble Eightfold Path start with the right view, right? Right view. So in the first Sutta or the Magga Samyutta from Samyutta Nikaya, I said that because of avijja is ignorance or moha, right? Because of ignorance, we have a wrong view. Ignorance together with shamelessness and fearlessness of wrongdoing. Moha, ahirika, and ottappa. 3, right? So because of these 3, wrong view arises. Because of wrong view, wrong intention arises. Because of wrong intention, wrong speeches, wrong actions, wrong livelihood, and wrong effort, wrong concentration, and wrong mindfulness, right? So here, I think we can learn that the ignorance or delusion or moha is the origin of everything, right? The origin of everything. So therefore, if you have ignorance is not knowing, right? Not knowing the real things. Not knowing the real things, you have a wrong view. But here, of course, this is my explanation is very similar to exactly wrong view, right? Sorry, delusion. The reason is when I explain about delusion, I use not knowing, right? Not knowing what is good and what is bad. That is ignorance. But here I use viewing or interpreting. That is different regarding with the usage of the word, right? So not knowing wholesome and unwholesome deed, that is ignorance. Then we view or we interpret wrongly, right? So that is a deity, Miccha deity, right? Miccha deity. Any question? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. According to Abhidhamma, of course, I will say that according to Abhidhamma Sangha, according to Abhidhamma manual Abhidhamma, this book, right? So, of course, the deity based on the greed, right? Based on the greed. According to the sutta that I refer to, is the nearest cause is the ignorance, moha, right? But of course, moha associate with any type of unwholesome action, right? Moha plus greed, I will say that. Yeah. Any question? Okay, let's go. Another one is a conceit, mana. That's very interesting things. Conceit. Mana literally means comparison. Comparison. It is a comparison between oneself and others based on ego. That's very important one. Based on ego. Mana actually means comparison. So you compare yourself with other people, right? In terms of status, I am higher. Based on ego, right? It's a very important one. Based on ego. So therefore, mana associate with greed-rooted consciousness, right? Lopa mula cheda. Based on ego. In terms of status. In terms of possession. So I'm higher, I'm junior, I'm senior, like this, right? In terms of wealth, I'm richer. You compare with based on your ego, right? Knowledge. I am knowledge better than those people, these people, like this, right? Ego. Based on ego, right? That's very important. But if not based on ego, you can compare with other people. It's a very important one. You can compare two countries. You can compare two family. You can compare with yourself and other based on wisdom, right? Based on mindfulness, not based on ego. So here, manami, comparison, you compare with other people based on ego. Any type of comparison. Beauty, right? I am more beautiful. It's based on ego. Normally, we have a lot of ego, right? In our mind. You might say that even in our unconscious mind, right? So we have a lot of ego. We always think that we are better than other people, right? Even you are ugly, you think that you are beautiful in your mind. That's but you know that you know yourself that you are very ugly, but in your mind you think that you are beautiful, right? You are handsome. That's human nature, right? So we can understand that. But here, mana means you compare based on your ego, right? But you can compare based on mindfulness or based on wisdom. That's not mana. That's not mana, right? We can call it is egocentric comparison. Actually, ego, basically, I think, greed-rooted consciousness, right? Greed. So we have too much attachment to our ego. So therefore, to ourselves. So therefore, the Buddha always teaches to remove the idea of self, right? So if you do not have the idea of self, you are not selfish, right? You will not compare with other people, with the ego. But you are mind very free, right? Very free. So here, mana can be interpreted or used egocentric comparison. Mana associate with chetas, rooted in greed, because it's based on your attachment to yourself, right? Attachment to yourself. That is according to Abhidhamma Sangha, right? Abhidhamma Sangha. If one compare with other without ego, just based on wisdom, just based on mindfulness, just based on right view and right intention, right? Sometimes you need to compare, right? Two company. you need to compare two staff, right? Two workers, whether they are good or bad. You need to compare. So such type of comparison, based on wisdom, based on mindfulness, right view, right intention, based on the Noble Eightfold Path, I will say, right? Based on the Noble Eightfold Path. That's not right view. That's not mana. That's not mana. Actually, we normally use conceit when you translate mana, but it's not 100% correct. It's only a part of definition, part of meaning. The definition of mana is shown in the sense of superiority complex in the first Abhidhamma text, Dhamma Singani. And it is compared with the flag waving in the air, just like a flag, right? Flag waving in the air. We have to look at, right? It's waving because of the wind. So if you see who have a mana, then they walk like this, right? They don't care anywhere. They don't care anywhere, right? That is the definition usually shown in the Abhidhamma text, right? Abhidhamma text. So therefore, many Abhidhamma writers, including English translator, follow suit. So they just use conceit. So in the sense of superiority complex, right? I'm higher. I'm higher. Actually, in Pali Canon, mana generally listed into three types. So the first one, superiority complex. Siyamana. Sorry about my pronunciation. It's a very difficult one to pronounce. Superiority complex, right? Siyamana. Actually, you are higher possession, but you compare based on ego. Don't talk to me, I'm higher than you, right? I am more beautiful than you, like, right? Actually, you're beautiful, so you compare with them, like this. You are very rich, right? And poor people. If you're talking about poor people, don't talk to me. I'm very poor. I'm very rich, right? Then I can give you many things, like this, right? Superiority complex, right? Complex. So you compare with other people based on ego, right? Based on ego. As I earlier said, that if you compare with anyone based on the Noble Eightfold Path, I want to say the Noble Eightfold Path, right? It's not mana. It's not mana. Equality complex. Actually, there is no English word. Equality complex. But we have a inferiority complex. Hinamana. Actually, you are lower than other people in terms of status, weight, or beauty. But anyway, you trying to compare with them, right? Based on your ego. Don't talk to me, even though I am poor. Then I have such one like this, right? Based on, actually you are lower than other people, but you're trying to compare with them, with the higher people, right? Even that one is still called mana, right? Any type of comparison. That if you have inferiority complex, it's also not good, right? You are not able to do in the higher level, right? If you have this one also not good. So therefore, mana can be any type of comparison, right? So therefore, based on these two words, I created a new equality complex, right? Sometimes you are equal, right? You are attending one class, you are attending one university, right? But you're trying to compare with your classmate based on your own ego, right? But you have equal range, equal possession, right? So you're trying to compare. That equally, you are rich, but trying to compare based on ego, right? Based on ego. Egocentric or the consciousness rooted in greed, right? Greed. This is the original unwholesome deed, right? If you have such type of comparison, such type of mana, then you likely do unwholesome things, right? So therefore, mana, if you based on suttas, we have a 3 type of comparison, right? Comparison. So any type of comparison based on ego, that's mana. So therefore, negative aspect of comparison is unwholesome mental state. Negative aspect, right? If you compare based on wisdom or mindfulness, then it is not mana, right? You can compare, right? You can compare. We have to be mindful that not based on ego, right? Not based on ego. Mana is totally eradicated only when one becomes Arahant. Even Anagami still have a mana, right? Still have a mana. Actually, I have shared story of Venerable Anuruddha, right? Venerable Anuruddha. He is Anagami and he has a supernatural power, or we call it psychic power, right? He can see 10,000 system of the world, right? Many world system. He can see with his divine power, divine eye, right? Divine eye. Then he think that if he practice insight meditation, he will become Arahant right away. That is comparison. Very slight, very subtle comparison. Actually, he is not insulting other people. And he think that I have a very deep and very high divine eye, right? Even I can see 10,000 fold system of the world, right? If I practice insight meditation, I can become Arahant very quickly. And thinking like this, he is trying to sharpen his supernatural power for many times. The one his friends who joined the Bhikkhu order together with him, they became Arahant. But he is just Anagami, right? And he have the mana, a comparison, a type of very subtle comparison, right? Then I can see 10,000 fold system of the world. So if I practice insight meditation, I can become Arahant, right? But if he really practice, couldn't. Long time he try hard, mindfully, and he make a lot of effort to become Arahant, but couldn't. And he is a little bit upset. Then he went to Venerable Sariputta and asked the reason why. And Venerable Sariputta said that you have a mana. I can see 10,000 fold system of the world, right? I have a divine, very sharp divine power. If I practice, I can become Arahant very quickly. There's mana, right? Very slight mana. So such type of mana is compared with the very tiny dust in your hand. Tiny dust in your hand will not make any difference, right? If you put it in your eye, it will make painful feeling in your eye, right? It depends on which, right? Such type of comparison will not make any harm. So you might say that. So in the business circuit, we have a lot of competition, right? We need to have mana, otherwise you will fail. You might think like this, but of course, in the normal level, it's nothing harmful, right? Nothing harmful. But when you really practice the Dhamma, it will make you hindrances, right? Hindrances. So therefore, Venerable Sariputta point out that you have this satimana, you have to cut it out this one. And you are thinking that even though I'm trying hard, I cannot become Arahant. That is restlessness in your mind, right? Like this. So then he practiced, he became Arahant. So therefore, mana is totally eradicated only when one became Arahant. And the Buddha said that bhikkhus, without having abandoned 6 things, one is incapable of realizing Arahantship. If you cannot overcome 6 things, you cannot become Arahant. So this is according to Arahata Sutta from Anguttara Nikaya. So the first one, conceit. Actually, in this Sutta, according to this Sutta, mana can be interpreted as a conceit, right? As a conceit. Conceiving oneself better than others. If you have such type of egocentric comparison, then mana, right? You cannot become Arahant. There's no comparison based on ego. Inferiority complex or mana, thinking that I am inferior. If you compare based on ego, wow, I am less knowledgeable than this kind, and you feel sorry for that, right? Because mana, inferiority mana, I am very poor compared to them. That is a egocentric. If you compare with them based on ego, right, you feel depressed. But you can compare to anyone. So wisdom, based on wisdom, right? Based on wisdom. Then number 3, arrogant. Abhidhamma. Your conceit is very, very big that it became arrogant, right? That consider self-elevation. Then self-overestimation, abhidhamma. You overestimate by yourself. Actually, this one is used when you think that you became something, you achieve spiritual attainment. When you do not attain actually. Suppose you think that you became Sotapanna. Actually, you are not. But you overestimate, right? Actually, there are some cases at the time of the Buddha. Some monks, they think that they are Arahant, right? So they told other monks they are Arahant. But those people, they are not breaking Vinaya rules. Actually, so we have the biggest offense in the Vinaya rules. So if you break one of them, you no longer become a monk. You became samanera. You cannot see. So the first one is killing human beings. The first one. If you kill human beings, even you, so you tell that you have done a lot of good deed. It's better time right now, and you will have a rebirth in the heavenly realm. Even you praise, even you tell like this, so the listener and commit suicide, then die, then you no longer be a monk. Then you give a medicine to abolish, right? Abortion, not abolish. Abortion, to have an abortion, no longer be a monk. So like this is a very subtle one. The second one is stealing. There is a amount, the amount that you steal, right? There is mentioned the amount. So if you steal, no longer be a monk. And third one is sorry? Oh, actually, the first one is sexual misconduct. Sorry, the first one is sexual misconduct, right? So if you make sexual misconduct with a human being, even animal, no longer be a monk. You cannot do sexual misconduct with the animal elsewhere, right? And the fourth one is the telling lie regarding with supernatural power. Even though you do not have a jhana, you tell the people that I enjoyed the first jhana last night. If you without having the first jhana, you tell the people to have a impression, right? To get impression from them. last night I enjoyed the first jhana for 3 hours. Like this. If you tell like this, regarding with the jhana, magga and phala, then you no longer be a monk, right? But in your mind, you think that last night you enjoyed the first jhana. Then you tell other people, right? Then that is not it. That is called overestimation, right? You overestimate your attainment, right? So that is called Abhidhamma. Then obstinacy. This one is related to dosa. Hostility caused by anger and conceit. It's a very, very bad one. And the last one is self-abasement. Atinipada. The mindset that think I am inferior, occurring in one who is actually inferior. This is very bad. This is also very bad. It will, if you have this one, self-assessment, self-abasement, then you cannot become arahant, right? Actually, this not only to become arahant, these can be applied to become a successful man, right? If you have all these one, you cannot be a successful one, like this, right? So what I want to point out is we have a different type of mana, right? Different type of mana. Mana means comparison. You compare with other people, right? Other people, whether superior or inferior, whether they are equal, right? You're trying to compare based on equal. Any question regarding with the mana? Okay. Sorry, can you repeat? Can you repeat?
What you know on the slides, it says I'm inferior, occurring in one who is actually inferior. So it sounded like I am indeed factually inferior. I see myself as inferior, and that is self-abasement. But isn't it a fact that I am indeed inferior? So what is wrong?
Very good question. Actually, suppose I will compare with myself based on wisdom, not ego. Suppose I'm ugly, right? Suppose I'm ugly. Actually ugly. Actually I'm ugly. So then I compare one guy is very handsome, right? Very handsome. Then I always compare with him. I am very ugly. He is very handsome, right? Based on ego. Then it creates depression. It creates a happiness in my mind, right? Actually, I'm ugly, really ugly. Always compare with a beautiful, handsome one, right? That's the self-abasement. Of course, nothing wrong to compare. We can compare. Oh, he's very handsome. So you, how to say, I am really ugly. If you judge or if you compare like this, ugliness and handsomeness, right? There will be no depression. Because in your mind, you have a right understanding, right? Right understanding. Not based on ego. Not based on ego. It's very, how to say, slightly different, right? Slightly different. So how to explain this one? Sorry? Of course, yes. Comparison. Because if I compare with that guy, is a handsome guy, then I understand that he is a more handsome than me. Actually, I compare with the wisdom, not based on selfish idea, right? Selfish idea. So if I compare like this, no depression here. Just acknowledge, right? A better things, better quality of that person. I acknowledge, right? He's more handsome. He is richer, right? And he is more educated, more knowledgeable. Then I acknowledge, I want to say congratulate a better quality of that person, right? But in the case of comparing based on ego, there is no congratulation. There is no understanding or no, how to say, understanding. But you think that, wow, I'm very ugly if I compare to him. He is many people love him. Many people know that he is very handsome and very ugly. Nobody acknowledge me. You compare based on your ego or greed, right? Greed. Then that create fear, that create depression and happiness in your mind, right? That is too much different if we understand in this way, right? If you understand in this way. So therefore, I said that a comparison based on the Noble Eightfold Path, nothing wrong with this, right? But you know that you are ugly. I know that I'm ugly, right? Then I acknowledge my ugliness. I accept that, right? Because I compare based on right view, right? Right view. But in the case of comparison with that person based on ego, that means you know that you are ugly, but you cannot accept that he is a better quality of that person. It creates jealousy. Even it creates jealousy, right? Or even it creates bitterness, right? You do not like that he is more very popular in there because he's very handsome, right? Very handsome. So it creates jealousy, bitterness, and hatred toward that person. So if you look at around, I would say, I think you can see that, right? You can see that. Okay.
Those people that Arahan, they think the ego will be more.
Yeah.
But those people that walk out, the ego will slowly reduce a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. So if we have a mindfulness, if we are going into the stream, right? The Noble Eightfold Path, our ego become less and less, of course, yes. Okay. Sorry? Sorry? Can you repeat? Can't hear. Very interesting question. Now I compare with more handsome guy, right? Now I compare with more uglier than. So therefore we have a three type of comparison, right? Superiority complex, right? But if I compare based on my own ego, inferior than to me, right? It's also not good, not good. If I compare, he's more uglier than me. Then you look down on, right? You look down on that guy. Maybe temporarily it will create happiness in your mind, but that guy may not like you, right? That guy may not like you. So therefore, it creates unwholesome deed, right? So therefore, any type of comparison, whether it is superior or inferior, whether it is equal, not good, not good. So here, the point here is we can compare, but it must not be based on ego, right? Ego, but we can compare based on wisdom. I think better thing about we can compare based on the Noble Eightfold Path, right? It's more complete. The Noble. Mindfully, you compare, right? You can compare two country, you can compare two family, right? You can compare two people based on wisdom, mindfulness, concentration, right? But not based on ego. If you compare it, it creates an unwholesome deed in your mind, right? It became unwholesome action. If you do unwholesome action, people will also react in the same way, right? In the same way. So therefore, any type of comparison based on ego is called mana, right? And it's quite clear. If you translate as a conceit, not complete, right? Not complete. Any question? Okay. So let's go to next one, hatred. So we also have learned this one, dosa. It is one of the three roots. So as you know, lobha, dosa, moha, right? It is sometimes referred to a poison. Hatred is a poison. Its literal meaning is distracting element in our mind. It destroys oneself and others when it arises within our mind. Hatred, right? It comprises all forms of distracted emotions such as hatred, anger, envy, irritation. This is one part. Another part is anxiety. This is another category. Anxiety, sorrow, depression, fear. This is also a part of anger. Normally, what we understand is hatred, anger, envy, irritation. Only this part. But you do not notice anxiety, sorrow, depression, fear, right? So these are also a part of anger. Then I will give you an example. Dosa is aversion or a dislike toward the object. As you know, we have 6 objects, right? Something to see, something to hear, something to touch, something to smell, something to taste, and something to think. Regarding with 6 objects, you do not like, right? You hate it. So that is dosa. And you trying to reject toward them based on dosa, right? Based on dosa. So we have 2 types. Number 1 is atidosa. So if we are in a position to react the object that we do not like, we feel angry and outburst. Actually, it's a, how do you say that? Roughly, we can divide into 2. That is not mentioned in the text. My own categorization. I correct that into 2, right? So atidosa and pasidosa. So actually, we are in a position to respond, right? The object, something you see, something you hear, etc., right? Then that can be, you feel very angry, right? You're outburst. Normally, a parent can have atidosa, right? A teacher can have a atidosa toward his pupil. And the boss, right, can have atidosa toward his staff, like this. Because they are in a position to respond, right? To respond. So this one also can be called atidosa. How about pasidosa? We are not in a position to react the object. but the object that we do not like, right? We're not in a position to react. And we feel depressed and frightened, fear, right? And worry. If you walk in a company, you're not in a position to respond to your boss, right? Then here, you do not like situation, dosa, right? But you're not in a position to react. If you react, then you will be fired. Like this. Then you feel depressed, right? You feel depressed. So therefore, dosa can be passive and active, right? Therefore, I said that sorrow, depression, fear. If you are afraid of ghost, right? Fear arises. This is a type of dosa. But you are not in a position to respond, right? You're weak. Your mind, mental state is very weak. That you are afraid to go certain places, right? Especially night time, right? Night time. You cannot control situation. So therefore, it can be passive dosa, right? So any type of emotional state that you do not like the object, then you do not like one person, right? Then you see that person you do not like in your mind. That's dosa, right? That you hear a very loud noise. You can't bear it. But you cannot complain that this is a government project, right? You cannot complain. So you feel angry, right? You feel angry. But you can show your anger at home, not outside. Like this, right? So there's a attitosa, right? Pasitosa. So therefore, any situation that create an emotional state that you do not like, an object, any object, even slight dislike, right? Slight dislike in your mind. That's called dosa. That's called dosa. So if we understand in this way, and hatred, dosa is much more easier, right? Much more easier. So you fear it passing, right? But you are seeing all the time. But you are not in a position to react, right? But you do not like that object, that passing. Then here, pasitosa, right? Pasitosa. So therefore, loba, dosa, moha. Actually, moha is the main character, right? Because you do not know the object. You do not know by yourself. So therefore, loba, dosa arises, right? Whether you like it or you don't like it, right? Any question regarding with the dosa? No, right? Actually, I forgot to copy the sutta that talk about how to remove your anger, right? Hatred, especially about anger or resentment. Normally, we have a lot of hatred, a lot of anger in our mind. You may not like one person. You may not like one, noisy songs. You may not like the food like this, right? A lot of anger, especially regarding with the resentment toward one person, right? Then the Buddha given 5 ways to remove. I don't know whether I remember all. So the first one is a loving kindness, right? To develop loving kindness toward that person. Of course, it's not easy, but you have to cultivate one by one, step by step, right? Even though you do not like that person, you have a desire to alleviate, to make to create a welfare, and you talk to him with a good intention, right? It's not easy. Here you must understand what is metta. The later I will touch on that in detail. So metta actually means wishing the welfare of a person or living being, right? Living being. That is metta. So wherever you talk to that person, wherever you act something toward that person, do it with the metta, right? I think it's the first one. Not really easy, but we have to do it. And secondly, compassion. Compassion. If that person have difficulties, you have compassion toward that person. You're trying to help them, right? That is second method. The third one is equanimity. Whatever he say or she say toward you, something you do not like, trying to control your mind, not to feel angry, right? You're trying to balance your mind. Equanimity. I think it's a very good way. Equanimity, right? Equanimity. Trying to balance your mind, not to feel angry, right? That is the third method. The next one is understanding the ownership for your karma, or ownership for the karma. So you think that if he or she is doing bad thing toward you, you're trying to understand that this is his or her own karma, right? And he will face his or her own karma. If I do unwholesome thing toward that person, then I will suffer, right? You're trying to acknowledge, understand the ownership for karma, right? The last, not least, ignore. Ignore me here. Manasikara. Do not make it in your mind. Normally, we are always thinking such people, right? In our mind. Do not try to make it in your mind, right? Do not give a place for such person, right? That is the last, not least, right? Do not let that person occupy in your mind, right? That is the 5 way to remove anger, right? Okay.
Sometimes compassion, because you're perfectly patient, so you cannot help the person. You think you have pity and guilt that you actually cannot help the person. This is very inevitable. We know that karma is the owner of our own karma.
Yeah.
The person is the owner of our own karma. But because of circumstances that you cannot help, you also will feel guilty.
No, not guilty. If you feel guilty, if you feel sorry, that means it is a unwholesome, unhealthy mind. So therefore, equanimity.
How you overcome? Because you see their stage, and then you know they're in a very bad stage, then you can't help them. But then you see, then what can you do?
Therefore, equanimity, upekha is very important. So in the 4 Brahma Vihara, so we have a loving kindness, right? So you must love other people. And compassion, you must have compassion toward who are suffering, who are poor, right? Suffering. Then you are altruistic joy, right? You must congratulate other people, right? But you have a limitation, right? Then even the last one, altruistic joy. You congratulate a person, right? But he trying to behave that he is higher than you like this, in front of you. But you try to congratulate that person, but he is acting that, so I am higher than you. But your altruistic joy has a limit, right? It will tend to anger like this. But in any situation, equanimity is very important. Equanimity balance the other people, the other good quality of the mind. Compassion, very good, right? Compassion, very good. But you're trying to help them as much as you can. You practice compassion. But if you feel guilty that your support is not enough, you feel sorry. That means your compassion is failed. But you have to control with the equanimity. Actually, equanimity can be explained is linking with the karma, right? Karma. So understanding the ownership for their karma. So their unhappiness and their poverty is their own karma. If you cannot control, that means you don't have a equanimity. Sorry?
If I see somebody like that, and I say, I cannot help, I already do whatever I can, and I still cannot help them. So, too bad.
Just trying to practice equanimity at that time. Trying to understand your limit. So that's all I can do. But try not to be guilty for yourself. And try not to be sorry for them. If you feel sorry here me not normal word, right? Pity. It suffer yourself. That's not wholesome one. Actually, wholesome kusalami that doesn't suffer other people, and it doesn't make suffering to yourself as well. Two aspects, right? So actually, I will treat on that later when we talk about equanimity. Very important state, right? Normally, we have such one in. So even last Thursday, I explained about being a monk. So as a monk, we hear good news and bad news from our all devotee, right? So if we see unhappy people and unlucky people, that of course we have a compassion. With your compassion, we try to help them as much as we can. Sometimes we cannot do anything, but we have to balance our mind, right? Equanimity took place. If no equanimity, our life is not balanced. So therefore, as a monk, very important one, right? Very important. We have to cultivate. 3 months ago, my father. I am told that my father paralyzed. Cannot talk, but can talk, but not very clear. Then I observe my mind, whether I am whether I can balance my mind or not. It's very serious diseases, right? Because I think 6 or 7 years ago, he suffered a light stroke. Then we can able to make it cure. But this time, 3 months ago, we throw in the mouth, cannot talk. Then I told them to go to hospital, specialist, and to cure it. So actually, I observe my mind, trying to balance my mind, right? Not to be. So what I can do is, I can talk to him to cure with the specialist. That's all. Then they do themselves, and now he's getting normal. Normal situation. So like this. So we will have a unlucky accidents, right? Unhappy situations. So we have to balance our mind, right? If I feel sorry, if I feel anxiety, right? Anxious in our mind, that is unhealthy mental state, right? So to control our mind, not to be shaken those unlucky incidents, occasions, right? So therefore it is called equanimity. Equanimity is balance of our mind, right? Later we'll touch on that in detail. So any question regarding with the hatred? Okay. Can hear. Okay, sorry, can you repeat?
It's like Sutapana or Steven. But you don't show because that's how they make this. เขาก็จะช่วยอะไรเนี่ย
Equanimous. Equanimous is it's more scary. Just smiling. When I'm young, when my mom went to cane, she would always have a very hard smile. And the moment she started to smile, I didn't know like
Wireless one better. And then I should use wireless microphone so that I can go. Actually, the question is a person trying to do something bad to me, right? Then I also suffer. But of course, I understand that this is his own karma, right? He did something wrong to me. He create wrong action. Actually, of course, that may be because of my bad karma elsewhere, right? I may did something bad to him. He responds in the same way. But here, the point is, the moment you have mindfulness, then you understand the karma, right? Because of my karma, he did something bad to me, right? Understanding about the karma. But if you do not accept or understand about the karma, you will respond again, right? It will create bad karma again. But here, you are not responding. But here, you can respond without unwholesome mental state, right? You can respond. Here, you can respond without anger or without greed, without ignorance, right? But no bad emotion, right? So when you make sure that when you're responding, make sure that you don't have any unwholesome mental state. That's very important, right? If you are responding the same way, also create your own bad karma, right? Own karma. That's very important. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Envy, asa, or jealousy. Jealousy. It is a jealousy also related to dosa, right? Jealousy or envy related to dosa. Asa is an aversion toward the success of other people. That's one part, right? And it joins toward the failure of other people. Very bad, right? Very bad. If somebody is successful, cannot rejoice, feel sorry, feel unhappy. That's asa. And if somebody has a failure, very happy. That's also asa, right? You cannot bear that a person is successful, a person is handsome, a person is rich. You cannot see, you cannot acknowledge. You don't like, right? Here is you don't like it. Actually, it is a part of dosa, right? A part of dosa. It's really bad. Normally, even among the parents and children, we have this one, right? The children may have, or the even parents may have this one sometime, right? Asa is a very important one. When it is in mind, one cannot stand the good news of others, cannot congratulate others' achievement. Actually, it's the best way to observe our mind, whether we have jealousy in our mind. Normally, we have a lot of jealousy in our mind, whether it is a good or how do you say, small or big. It depends, right? That we have. Actually, normally we are not mindful. We are not mindful. We have a lot of ignorance, right? So therefore, it creates a lot of unwholesome mental state. Jealousy, right? If somebody is taller than you, jealousy. And anything, right? Anything. So anything. Jealousy arises. If somebody is richer than you, jealousy arises. If somebody has driving a very good car next to you, right? Jealousy arises. So therefore, it is very important to observe our mind, right? To observe our mind. Whether we have, if slight degree of dislike in your mind create, that's jealousy, right? Very connected with the mana, right? Comparison based on ego. Comparison based on ego. Some of its manifestations are speaking divisive speeches, gossiping and slandering. So therefore, you have jealousy. You're trying to divide two people. You're trying to divide two groups. You're trying to divide two countries, right? Like this. That is because of jealousy and gossiping. No, he is very bad, like this, right? We're trying to gossip because we're jealousy toward that person, right? And slandering. That's an unhealthy mind, right? It's an unhealthy mind. It usually arises to one who has no confidence oneself. If you are a boss, you may have jealousy toward even your worker, right? The worker is very bright, trying to perform his duty in the right way, right? Sometimes even he is higher, right? He is higher, but he may have a jealousy toward that person. Of course, between two people who are equal, jealousy is easy to arise. If one is promoted, right, because of his good performance, then we may have a jealousy toward that person. Why him, right? Not me, like this. Because you cannot acknowledge the ownership of karma, right? He may have his own karma in this life or in past life, right? So if you cannot understand, if you cannot accept their promotion, his promotion, then feel jealousy here. Unhealthy mind. It creates a happiness in our mind. Even we cannot sleep like this, right? So therefore, all these 40 unwholesome mental states are the root of unwholesome actions, right? Unwholesome actions. For those who have less confidence, of course, they have a lot of jealousy and envy. They think that if somebody is higher than their possession, no confidence here, or he may do or she may do something, right? Like this. So it's connected with the confidence. It is a direct enemy of altruistic joy. Cannot rejoice, right? Cannot rejoice. So in Brahmachala Sutta, we have a story of the deities. And even in the deities, among them, they have competition. And some deities, so they see other devas who are brighter and who are, more handsome and more beautiful, and they have a jealousy in their mind. And they create a lot of happiness in their mind. As you know, the body of the devas are too subtle that we cannot see them. So their body is too subtle, and their anger and their hatred, their jealousy too strong that it burned their body and they died. So actually that is mentioned in Brahmachala Sutta. They are called Manobrosika Deva, the deity who dies due to distracted mind. Partly because of the jealous mind, right? They cannot congratulate a better quality of other devas, right? It's very important to have a healthy mind that to congratulate those are higher quality, right? They may be inferior to you, or they may be superior to you, but trying to congratulate, right? They are good quality. They are better quality, right? Better quality. Another one is connected with envy or jealousy is avarice, material. Material is a selfish dislike to share one's own belongings, informations, knowledge, loved ones or things. Especially a selfish dislike, right? Selfish dislike. You don't want to share. We can call it stinginess, right? Stinginess. Actually, Abhidhamma commentary also mentioned it is a because of lobha, right? Because too attached to our own belongings, right? What we own, what we belong to. So therefore, we have avarice or miserliness, right? Miserliness or stinginess. We don't want to share our information, knowledge, and loved ones. It is aversion or a dislike to share something or someone with other people. I don't mean that you have to share your beloved one. Not like this. Not like this. Suppose you see your beloved one is talking to other people, right? Then you can't stand. You don't like it. Actually, just talking, right? Just talking. You don't like it. Then somebody is reading your note, right? But you don't like it. You don't want to share your material, teaching materials. You don't like it. The reason is, after reading your note, and they try hard, and they overtake your possession like this. That is what we call it avarice, right? Avarice. Anything that can be anything. So it's selfish dislike, right? Selfish dislike. But of course, you don't need to share your loved ones, right? You don't need to share. It's quite normal, quite normal. So what I mean is selfish desire. Just talking to somebody you don't like it in your mind. Don't have understanding, right? Understanding like this. Also, you don't want to share Mangala Vihara with other people, right? There's also avarice. Something you belong to your. This temple is belong to you, right? If other people are using this temple, you don't like it at all. But of course, if they are using in an appropriate way, right? In improper way, but of course you have to respond. Don't use it, right? But they are using in a better way, a proper way. But here you have avarice in your mind. You don't like it, right? You don't like it. So there is avarice. Something you belong to, right? Something you belong to. Then you have a information, right? Informations. Then you don't want to share with other people. That's also avarice, right? Avarice. Even though it is translated as avarice, miserliness, stinginess, covetousness, a lot of translation. Its proximate cause is aversion or hatred, dosa, right? Dosa, which is interrelated with the greed very closely, because you have attachment to something you belong to, right? So they are based on that. You don't like a situation, then avarice, right? So therefore, according to Abhidhamma Sangha, avarice material is under hatred, right? But it is interrelated to lobha, because of strong lobha, right? Lobha. So we in Kodan Nikaya mention 5 types of avarice. It can be more than 5, right? Because just give 5 lists. Normally this sutta intended for the monks, right? Especially for the monks. But it can apply to lay devotee as well, right? The first one, dwelling everywhere. As I said that, Mangala Vihara is a dwelling for you, right? You came here for study, and you do puja here. If you don't share this place with other people, right? Suppose the other organization come and use this temple, then you don't like it. There is a time, there is a place. Nobody is using that time schedule, right? But you don't want to share just because they are from other society. Just like that. That avarice, right? Selfish dislike. But you, by that time, the place is utilized, then our devotees are using this place, then you reject their proposal. It's okay. Because it's not selfish one, right? It's selfish one, dwelling. Then I always give an example of you are sitting in the MRT, right? You're sitting, you have a place to sit at the MRT station. You're sitting, a sign written for disabled people, right? And old people, you're sitting there. The old people came in, one of the old women came in. Then you pretend that you are sleeping, right? You pretend that you are sleeping. That's also avarice, right? Avarice. You don't like to share that place, right? Like this. You are selfish at the time. You're selfish, right? But if you are sitting the other place, it's okay. Stay okay. But all people came in, weak, right? But few people came in, you should stand up and give the place, right? Even you sit the other place, you stay selfish, right? Selfish. So anyway, according to the government law, it's okay, right? It's okay. It's okay. But if you are sitting in their place, the place, especially needy place, the some place, it's selfish, right? You pretend that you are sleeping. It's avarice, right? Dwelling avarice. The number 2, family avarice, kulamacharya, especially for monks. If monk do not like, his devotees are talking to another monk, an association with another monk, attending the classes conducted by another monk. If he doesn't like avarice, very important one for the monks. So if the devotee who is always supporting him and also support other monk, if he doesn't like this one, family avarice. Of course, for normal lay devotee as well, right? Just like that, your beloved one is talking to another person on business, right? Talking about business. Nothing to fear about anything, right? You're doing business. But you don't like it. Avarice, right? Avarice, like this. You don't want to share. Then you have your husband is working for the temple, right? He is free, he can do it. But you don't like it. Avarice, right? You don't like it, avarice, like this. So, kulamacharya. And that one, gains avarice, labhamacharya. Labhamacharya, gain avarice. How do I explain this one? Suppose you're working for one company, right? Then you have a high salary in that company, right? There is a post in that company. But if you share that news to other people, the company will hire. If the company do not hire other people. You have more power. You have more salary, right? You don't share that news. That is avarice. Avarice, right? That means you're selfish because of your own end, right? Your own profit. You don't share that news, right? So that is gains avarice. Number 4, beauty and fame avarice. Vanamachariya. You have a popularity in one place, right? In the company. If another guy came and performed, and he became popular in the company, and you don't like it, right? You don't want to share popularity with other people, right? That is beauty or fame avarice. You are handsome in the school, right? You're beautiful in the school, the most beautiful girl in the school, right? So another beautiful girl came in, you don't like it, because if she came, there are 2 beautiful girls in the class, right? You don't want to share like this. So these are avarice. It's very subtle, right? Very subtle. It's related to anger because you don't like it. You don't like that situation, right? And number 5, knowledge avarice. Dhamma machari. Here, Dhamma is knowledge. Knowledge avarice. So you don't want to share your knowledge, your information, your teaching materials, right? But here, I think we have a, according to this one, copyright. Copyright can be under this one. If they are too selfish, right? Actually, some population are selfish, right? They don't want to share. Even though they have enough profit, right? They don't want to share. They want to hold it. So one of the organization is, you may know it, Palita Society. I think that, of course, they need support, right? They need a lot of money to run their association. But they hold everything, right? They hold copyright. So if you find out in the internet, Google in the internet, you hardly find the book from BTS Society, copyright. So therefore, Buddhist Palita Society is not popular because of their avarice. I will say that. So I agree that we must have a copyright to some extent, right? But sometimes we need to share, especially if we are publishing a Buddhist literature, right? Buddhist literature must be free access, right? Free access. So therefore, Power of Meditation Center is doing good in this case. And he written on the book, anyone can publish. You don't need to ask permission for publishing this book. So therefore, they have a lot of support, right? So free to publish, even no need to get permission, right? Permission. That is, they don't have avarice. They know that this is a good quality to open, right? Everyone. Any question regarding with the jealousy and avarice? Any question? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Earlier on, you talked about the family avarice. You talked about a monk. The monk don't like the other people to share. What will happen to the monk? If the monk, what will happen to him? If you don't share, it's okay.
It is really related to our topic. Actually, time is actually, may I take 5 minutes, right? I want to share a very beautiful story regarding with our question. So there is a very beautiful story. We always refer to that story to talk about material or avarice. So at the time of Kassapa Buddha, in the village temple, there was a monk. So actually he is a very powerful in that village. Only one temple, only one monastery, only one abbot, monks. Very influential in the village, right? So later on, when Arahant came and visited to that place, the heart of the village saw that Arahant, and he is impressed by his behavior and by his movement, everything, right? So he was impressed, and he became, he requested to Arahant to stay here, to stay in the monasteries, right? To stay in the monasteries. So Arahant accepted his request. So Arahant stayed there. There's only one man there, right? So when Arahant stayed there, in front of the head of the village, so the monks behave in a good way, right? In a good way. But in the morning, so they have to go for Pinapada, right? Pinapada. But Arahant got up very early and meditate. So that monastery chief monks, and normally he have to ring the bell, right? Ring the bell. But that morning, he used a one grass and ring the bell. It will not make any sound, right? It's more tiny grass. Kusagrat, we use kusagrat. He used a tiny grass kusagrat. He ring the bell. How Arahant can hear, right? But Arahant know it. But he didn't make any. Didn't say anything. Then he go for Pinapada, right? But when he arrived at the head village house, the head village told the chief monks, where is visiting monk? And he said that he is sleeping. Even though I rang the bell, he didn't hear. Create a lot of uncertainty, right? Even though I rang the bell as a normal time, didn't get up, right? So therefore I came alone. So of course he have a lot of rice and curry in his bowl. On the way he eat it and he throw away everything. So he come back to the village, the temple, and before he go, the head of the village told the monks, one day I give more food for the visiting monk. Please offer to him. And on the way, he eat it and he throw away. Then he went back to his monasteries with the empty bowl, right? Empty bowl. But Arahant know that if he stay in this monastery, that guy will create a lot of unwholesome deed. Then he left. So when he arrived at the temple and he learned that there's no visiting is already left, right? Then he feels sorry. He feels sorry for that, and he died with that mind, thinking that actually I have done a lot of very, very serious bad deed, right? So thinking that unwholesome mental state, so he died very soon. So as soon as he died, go to hell and suffer a lot. At the time of the Gautama Buddha, and he became a beggar. He was born in the beggar family. So as soon as he was born, that family do not have enough food because of his own bad karma. And the village this day also suffer a lot. And they think that there must be a very unlucky guy or very bad guy among ourselves. Before we used to have a lot of money, right? In Baka village. So we need to, make a lucky draw. They divided two partition in the village, and as soon as divided, the group that guy is in, they do not have enough food. The other part, they have a lot of money. So they divided one by one. Finally, only one family. So therefore, even his parents thinking that he have a lot of unwholesome deed, so I think they left. They abandoned that guy, right? Not poor guy, no enough food, no food to eat. Then one day he met with the Venerable Sariputta. Because of his own karma, because at the time of Kassapa Buddha, he practiced the Dhamma, right? He do some good deed. So even though he have a lot of avarice, right? But he have done a lot of good deed. Because of that one, he met with the Venerable Sariputta. He became a Samanera. Then, whenever he go Panapada, nobody is offering to him. Even he go with another monk, and people offer that monk, they ignore. Then Venerable Sariputta know that. So therefore, he share his food with that guy, with that Samanera. Actually, if according to commentary, not commentary is Dhammavada commentary. I forgot the story. I forgot this the name of the story actually. So even Venerable Sariputta give to him. As soon as Venerable Sariputta, do not touch the bowl, then the food inside the bowl disappear. Like this, very poor guy. Then it is a day that he became Arahant. So on that day, so Venerable Sariputta know that he don't have enough food, so he touched the bowl all the time. And that Samanera, not Samanera or man that I forgot. So he eat in his content. So only that day he can eat the food. So the other day he couldn't eat the enough food, right? Because of the karma, right? He suffered in the head a lot. So even the last life he became Arahant and he not enough food, right? Not enough food. That is the result of avarice. Avarice, very frightening, right? Very frightening. So try not to have avarice. That is the story that you can read in Buddhism in Daily Life book. Actually, we are printing Buddhism in Daily Life. We are in process. We are typing again. We were printing that book in Myanmar. I think it will finish maybe within a few weeks. So we'll distribute, right? Then you can read this story in the book. And then I have seen a PDF copy of that book. Then you can find out avarice. So in that book, you can find out that story, right? Very beautiful. We always refer to that story, right? That story. Okay, so that's all. So we'll close our class. Next week, we have announcement. Next week, we don't have a class.
Okay, just one announcement. On the 28th of August, there will be a talk by Bande Yana Siha. In short, we call him Bande Siha. The topic of the talk is how to maintain happiness in the developed society. It's a Monday, 7:30 to 9:30 at this hall. And next week, there's no class. Okay? So come back after next week. Yo vadatam pavaro manu Jesu Sakyamuni Bhagavakata Gicho Paragato Bala Viriya Samangi Tam Sugatam Saranatam Upemi Raga Viraga Mane Jama Sokam Dhamma Masankatama Patikulang Madhura Mimam Pagunam Suvibatam Dhamma Mimam Sararatamuhemi Yata Chadinamahapalamahu Chatusu Suci Supurisa Yogesu Atacha Pugala Dhamma Dasate Sangami Mam Saranatamu Pemi. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Bhante.